Hey, loves. What was 2025? I had such good intentions for this podcast. And then life happened. Yeah, don't really know what else to say. However, I am back and I'm going to be really honest with you. Not that I am ever not, but I wanted to be really honest in this episode, particularly about commitment, devotion, half-heartedness, dedication, and kind of offer a new perspective or a different way of looking at these things. So most of the time when we think of commitment or dedication or devotion, and then the shadow of that being half-heartedness, we are thinking about going all in on something, or at least that was my perspective on it for a really long time. Um, and maybe that's because I'm a fire, sun, moon rising, right? Like the intensity of devotion and commitment in my life has always meant like welcome to Becoming Full of Yourself, the show where fulfillment is not a finish line, it's a way of being. I'm Ebony Allard, master coach, energy specialist, soul contract guide, here to help you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. In each episode, we explore what it means to lead from the inside out, embody your truth, and become so full of yourself that you overflow. Let's get into it. This is an episode where I really want to offer a new perspective on like what is shifting within me, what is changing within the world, how I see commitment and devotion and discipline and kind of all of the things that are the other end of half-heartedness, and like how this relates to you and to your life and all of those things. So let's get stuck in and see how this works. So my vocation is devotion. So my core wound is half-heartedness. Now, if you're looking at your chart, if you haven't got one, go to the link ebonyallard.com/get chart. And for this, we are looking at your frequency rather than your human design. So go and get your chart. Then when you're looking at that, what you're looking at in this instance, and what I'm talking about here for myself, is my design, so unconscious Mars. Now, that is what we're driven by, the energy of Mars, and it's our core wound. It's this deep wound within us that becomes our vocation, our kind of reason for being here. And so the core wound is like the shadow end of it. And then the pathway and the gift and the city are like really what your life is about, like where beyond kind of what am at work, beyond meaning, beyond all of it, like what is the kind of life that you are here for? What is your vocation? And so for me, that core wound is gate 29 and half-heartedness. And I was born 12 weeks early, was born at 26 weeks. And so that's an example of half-heartedness, right? Like couldn't stay the length of time. And I'm looking down because I'm looking in my little book because I want to show you or read you something. So this is the Kismet Code cards. They are the gates in human design. They are the equivalent of the G keys or the I Ching. They also have got numerology and archetypes and everything weaved in together, which is why I call them the Kismet Codes. And code 29 I call the faithful devotee. And so ultimately, I am deeply, deeply faithful and devoted to the work of becoming full of yourself, right? Like full self-expression and the things that matter, right? And so like in the book I say code 29 is the energy for being faithful and devoted to the things that matter, dedicated, adventurous, and hungry for new experiences. It has a great stamina for challenging situations and exemplifies readiness. right. And so I was like born early and ready, right, for the world, and have really had this experience of being half-hearted. And it's not like I have it in line 4, so it's a self-rejection piece, and like understanding this stuff has changed so much for me, because I was always like, but I'm not half-hearted, I go all in, sure, but I have at times been half-hearted around myself, have self-abandoned, self-betrayed, given over and to my, or given myself to a cause or to somebody else more than myself, which is this core wound. And when you remove the wound aspect of it, right? When you start to see it as a seed, which becomes a bloom, which bears fruit, this is what we're really working with when we're working with the gene keys or the kismet codes or your soul contract. And we really kind of dive in and look at what is going on underneath. And the core wound is such an important thing for us to look at if you are not feeling satisfied and fulfilled in your life. If you're not feeling like you're living your vocation, if you're not living from love, right? If you feel like the universe is testing you, this is a really great place for us to look. And why am I sharing about it here? Well, there is this line for me and a lot of people that I work with and that come into my world around like newness and saying yes to stuff, and that almost like being a distraction for the real thing, for like sticking with something rather than being half-hearted, or rather than like getting distracted by novel or newness, like sticking with the thing, going a little bit deeper and meeting the edges and finding through commitment, devotion, and finding something else, right? And over the last 3 years, I've been looking at becoming more demoted, devoted, and committed to myself, rather than being in service like it's servitude, like a giving of myself, giving too much of myself almost to my work. And what I found in those 3 years was that when I used my value filter and I really went in a little bit deeper into like what is important to me, who am I? What do I value? What do I want to be the embodiment of? Where is my power? When I work with people, whether that is in embody your design or one-to-one, whether you're doing Kismet Flicks or whether you're starting your value filter process for yourself, what I'm really digging into is like, what are you made of? What do you value? How can you be empowered? So like have your power within you rather than leaking your power or giving it away or giving it to somebody else or something else. And so many of us give power to the system, to money, to God, to our partners, to lots and lots of things that are outside of us. We give our power away, right? And so first step is like really taking back that power and operating from a place of empowerment. Where is my power? And our power really is our energy, and it's where alignment happens, where intention and attention are aligned together, and we channel our energy, our power into or in a specific direction, right? So this is the empowerment piece. And then we're looking at embodiment, like how do I be that which I value, that which I have said is important to me, and then how to express that. And in doing that, we become self-actualized, we become fully fulfilled, we honor our soul contract, and we embody our design. And that is now all of my work, right? And when I say all of my work in that kind of excited way, for the last 3 years, I've been trying to simplify it. And I've been teaching Embody Your Design, which means I've been embodying my design myself and going deeper and spiraling into and then out of and in a kind of really beautiful dance with myself around embodying more of my design, working with the golden path as is described by Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys, but also experiment, my own experiment, which blends all of these practices together. excuse me, with all of the modalities that I have studied and qualified in and qualified by experience and using right in my life. So for the longest time, 3 years, I've been like, how do I simplify? How do I keep the quality and the potency of my work, the intimacy of my culture? How do I keep that, but also stop overgiving, stop self-betraying in a way? And my pearl, which is in the pearl sequence and is really like your prosperity, um it's all about kind of how do you become rich, like where is wealth for you, this kind of quantum trifecta. And my pearl is gate 40, and the shadow of that is exhaustion. And so it was really became this piece for me of like, okay, I'm operating from exhaustion like nearly all the time. I'm over giving. How do I simplify my life so that I've got more time for me, more time to play, to explore, to truly be free, like a deeper level of free, a deeper level of liberation where I'm not attached to anything. And I can really enjoy the the years and years and years of service I have given and all of the things that I've created. Like, how do I leverage that? And what I've come up with is this sort of framework or structure, which is my earth, my evolution, my challenge in gate 60, of the value filter being your compass and your tool, and like the most powerful teaching I've ever seen, actually, around bridging information to embodiment or turning knowledge into wisdom and bringing you back into alignment. It's a tool for interoception. It is a tool for embodiment. It's a tool for energy. It's a tool for post 2027, right? Like everyone needs the value filter. And if you haven't got it yet, you need to have it. And if you've done it before and you want to become a licensee or practitioner and you want to spread it out in the world for me, please get in touch. But the value filter is that first contact point. And or Kismet Flicks. Now, Kismet Flicks has been such a long time in the making. And I had to change in order to birth it how it wants to be birthed. And the piece that needed to change is I needed to really fully let go of my ego, or the bit of me, the bit of my 5-line. And I'm not just 5-line once in my profile, I've got 5-lines so many times in my profile, my kind of overall design. I needed to step away from wanting status, needed to step away from the ego piece of the 5-line and really just go, yeah, no, that is my offering, right? I'm going to stop showing up, but all of my work, everything that I've created, I can give this away at a fraction of what it has cost or what it would be if you bought the courses individually. So you can still buy most of the courses individually, or you can buy them in one go. And it is about £8,000 worth of programs for 1,111. And that is as of right now. And I'm recording this in the end of November 2025. And then 2026 and going forward, my work and what I will be creating and where I'll be putting my teach is inside Kismet Flicks. And then we've got Embody Your Design. And Embody Your Design is where you get to be supported by me and you get to be supported by our inner circle and our community and really model synergy, really model syntropy. And what do those words mean? Learning from each other and being greater than the sum of our parts, by it not being a hierarchy where I'm like a guru at the top of anything, but that I am facilitating the space, holding the space and creating exercises and experiments and doing all the stuff I'm fucking great at to help you embody your design and live this stuff, right? And this is the place where you get to experience me and each other. And it's such a cool place. It's like, it's my favorite place. I love this program that I have created. And that's it, right? So you can still work with me one-to-one, and I've got the occasional, and I'm reducing this down to 1 day a month, where if you are not a one-to-one client and you're not in body or design, but you have an ask or you want a reading or you want a one-to-one with me, then there will be availability of 1 day a month to come and do that, right? To book a reading. Or there's a whole list of like one-to-one sessions in there that you can go and get from the session shop. But if you want to really go on an exploration of your design and your soul contract and some of the things that I've shared around my journey here, right, where the exploration of the core wound, or let's look at your pearl, or what is your brand, what is your message, and how do all these pieces come together to create the youest you, that's what I do in my one-to-one. And so if you want that and you want to have me on your team for 2026, then get in touch. And the sooner you get in touch, the more of me you get for free, because if you get in touch today, then and you say yes and you want in and you secure one of the spaces for 2026, then you'll get the rest of this year, 2025, for free on me, because I want to support you and get you set up to have the best 2026 and beyond that you possibly can have. 2025 is a 9 year it collectively, and this has been the end of a cycle. And the astrology in 2026 has not been seen for 6,000 years. Me and numbers, man. A really, really long time, right? Like, this is, it's immense what's about to change. And so many of the outer planets, which are our generational planets that affect us as a collective, are moving from Pisces, which is the end of the zodiac, into Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac, right? So all of these generational planets that are shifting are moving into Aries and moving into a new beginning. And this is why everybody is like big in the astrological worlds, right? Those who kind of read patterns of as above, so below, as within, as without. It's a whole new world that is coming for us. And that gets to be as exciting as it is scary. And it is a new way of operating. Now, from 1615 until now, as a collective, we've been operating inside the cross of planning. That's what it's called. And when you think about it, our whole lives, we've been like, what's the plan? What's the plan? How do I plan for that? And it's always been about having a plan for your life. Now, as we move into the cross of the Phoenix, it is about how do we rise? How do we transmute and alchemize what the environment is giving us and be magic. Now, that's a very high level take on this new era, and please don't take me like hugely seriously. I go with, at the moment, and in this context, I'm going with like how it feels and a kind of overarching headline, rather than like this is what it's going to be like. Okay, there are other people, if you want the real details of like what it's going to be like, go and listen to them. I do not use astrology or the energetic weather or anything like that to predict the future. I use it like weather forecast of like, in order to enjoy life, we might need a warmer jumper or an umbrella today. And that's the point, right? And in order to enjoy life going forward, you really need, or it's going to be a fuck of a lot easier and more enjoyable if you understand your design, how your energy is designed to interact with the world and each other, and your soul contract. Because once you have that information, it is just easier to self-affirm and like really like affirm your true self, and then shift and alchemize as you find yourself in your shadow states, or you're met or projected by shadow states, or the world or the exterior is like heavy and hard. Then you've got the tools to use your individual and personalized and bespoke system and enjoy this human experience. Enjoy your body, enjoy the full range and wave of emotion, and all of the energy in motion that is both personal and collective. And that for me is the point. So this episode was supposed to be really a kind of welcome back to Becoming Full of Yourself, the podcast where but this is why I've been a little bit absent. I've been really like in the thick of it and trying to simplify my life and deepen my own connection to my soul contract, to my design, and like what is gonna serve me best first so that I can then serve you best. And that has taken a lot of jiggling, and it's taken me kind of really reworking my offerings and a lot of the back end stuff. Also got a country move happening because, you know, not supposed to be here anymore. This bit's done. And a whole new start. And I don't really know where that is or what that looks like right now. And I don't know a lot. But what I do know is that what I do know is enough, and that I have the skills and tools to live one day at a time, and that I want to do that with you. And I really want to develop more of the incredible relationships that I have got. You know, I have been doing this work quite a long time now. I've been in this world my whole life, this world being the kind of personal development and embodiment world. And I have been coaching full time since 2024, and I've worked with thousands of culture makers or misfits or creatives or ADHDers or, you know, whatever label you want to use. I've worked with a lot of pretty cool people, and a lot of those pretty cool people are still in my world now. Hi, and thank you. And, you know, your kids are coming to me now, and there's a level of I don't even know what it is. It feels so good to have a retention rate as high as I do, and to have people a return rate, and like have people still coming back and wanting to learn from me and evolving and growing with me, particularly in a world where we have a trust deficit, whatever that means, right? Like I am honest and transparent, and that is my culture. I do this work because it is my vocation. I am fully committed and devoted to helping you enjoy your human experience and your life and come back to it being an adventure. And so, yeah, I don't really know what the future holds, but I do know that I want to be working with some of you one-to-one. And if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, yeah, I think I want some support in understanding myself better, but not from a cerebral place, like really from, I want to live this adventure. I want to be in my body. I want to feel good in my body. And I want to be fully expressed, and I want to be more me, and I want to be more unfuckable with, and I want to be more unapologetic. Then the way to do that is to take risks. You cannot be a safe and sensible person and live in magic. You just can't. So if you want to experience this life of wild and free, if you want to really like follow your own truth, then yeah, you've got to say yes to yourself. You've got to reach out and you've got to go, yeah, I'm in, and let's do this together. The little giggle that I just made was because the tattoos on my hands, which I haven't sort of shown anyone for years and years, say wild and true, and it's such a huge part of my value filter, and it says wildfire and true love, because again, like I am Sagittarius sun, no, Leo sun in the 8th house, Sag rising, Sag moon, and you know, that is who I am, right? But even before I knew any of this cerebrally, my body knew it, and therefore decided that these were the words and the anchors that I needed. So when I say there is nothing to learn and everything to be, or nothing to learn and everything to remember, that's what I mean, that you already know this. It's already in your cells. What I do is I help you remember. I help bring it through so that it can be useful for you, so that it is not just another thing that you have information on, but that you are actually able to use. Because what makes me a master coach is the so what factor. You know this information, so what? What are the implications of that? What's the applications of that? What does it look like in your life? And when you have this information about who you are, what you're here for, what you're designed for, what your gifts are, what your shadows are, then you can take ownership of your life. When you take ownership of your life, you no longer need to be in control. And instead of living life as a victim, you can create whatever it is that you want to create. Or if you're somebody who has an undefined sacral and it isn't creation energy that you're working with, but creation energy that you're amplifying, you can curate, you can reinvent, you can use all the energy in the world in the way that you were designed to use it. None of this makes sense, but you feel like you want to know more, then Kismet Flicks and the Value Filter, or reach out for a one-on-one. If some of this makes sense, then Embody Your Design is the place for you. Either way, I really, really actively invite you to hand raise, come forward, speak to me, and book in for an experience experiment together. And let's make 2026 our best year yet. Going forward, I will be doing some solos, and I've got some incredible guests coming on, and we are having conversations about becoming full of ourselves and what that means and their experience of it. And my intention is to go back to weekly and to sharing in a more consistent way. Now that I've sort of simplified things, I can do that, and I really know what I'm focusing on. And then my intention is I've kind of set my week up so that I can do what I really want to do again, which is to study new content or old content, but like get my eyes on it and absorb it and embody it, and then put together or express it in my own way, which then goes into Kismet Flicks. And that means that you can learn with me, or you can request something, or I will be filling out the library that is in there as we move forward. What else do I want to tell you? Please subscribe, please like, please share. This message and the work that I'm sharing in the world is really, really important. It's always been really important, but as we shift into a new paradigm, new energy, a new set of rules, this work is even more important, and people need to be in their bodies. And more and more, our generation, or those of us with Chiron in Taurus, we really need to feel safe in our bodies, to feel secure in our bodies. And a lot of our lesson and then medicine is around that. But actually, what I'm seeing at the moment is a huge amount of people using weight loss drugs. And I'm not criticizing that in any way. I think all medicine is good medicine when you're in right relationship with it. But what I see is a kind of resurgence of fear and people outsourcing their kind of pain or discomfort of being a human and living in a body. And it is much easier to hand over to control or responsibility, or to find a fix, an external fix, than it is to really sit with the discomfort of whatever is going on for you. And again, like, this is not to say not to use medicine if it's working for you. We are all different, and we all need to learn how to use our discernment to make these things. But if you are kind of triggered by the world and the messaging around thinness, or around what I'm personally seeing is everyone starting to look the same, then this really is an opportunity to take that and go, okay, well, what is in that trigger, right? Where is it leading me to? And for me, it's like leading me back into my value of individuality, and how I highly, highly value everybody expressing themselves, right? Being full of themselves, and understanding what is healthy for them, and your own body and your own ecology. All of this kind of one size fits all, you should eat this, you shouldn't eat this, you should move this way, you shouldn't move this way, this is what your hormones are doing. But all of that stuff is inaccurate, because it is a generalization, and nobody knows your body and your experience like you do. And if you don't, this is the time and the opportunity. The way that you take back your power is by learning it, is by developing a relationship with yourself and really understanding that you are not just your mind, you aren't your thoughts or your feelings, you are your whole being. And actually what you're thinking and experience and what you know is your body, right? Because everything is afferent. Anyway, I'm digressing. So kind of a new season of becoming full of yourself. I have decided, though, I'm not going to do seasons. I am going to allow myself to continue to create in a way that feels good. And the best thing that you can do is subscribe, and so that you get notified when new episodes pop up. And if you want to continue the conversation, do so in the comments wherever you find this, or join us in the Maven Haven, which is inside the Sovereign community, which is a ad-free, troll-free, bot-free platform hosted by Sovereign Magazine, where I have my community, the Maven Haven, and there are other communities within that space. So you get to meet really cool people who share values and ideals and who want something similar to you and who want to develop relationships with each other. It's a great platform. And again, I do a community call on there once a month, but I will also always be available to anyone who has questions about working with me specifically. Just tag me and I will always reply. So yeah, that's it for now. In the coming weeks, I have got episodes from just some really, really cool people. I'm not going to say yet. But yeah, I've got an episode on self-concept that's coming before the end of the year. We've got one on confidence that's coming really soon. Yeah, more coming, and I'm really, really excited for you to get these episodes and to enjoy them. Yeah, that's everything I've got. Bloody love you. Thank you for still being here. You all mean a lot to me, and yeah, I hope you know that. All right, bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Becoming Full of Yourself. If you found resonance here, subscribe, share it with someone who's ready to reclaim their fullness, and leave a review to help others find this work. For more resources, rituals, real talk on living a fully fulfilled life, head to ebonyallard.com. Until next time, be bold, be brave, be full of yourself.